But that leads us to ask some questions where the MCU is headed. So you and I have some theories.
Yep.
Tyler, what do you think?
Well,
we're gonna deep dive into this.
I think right now you have a lot of moving parts. You have a lot of strings, that are needing to be kind of tied off and tied up. And one of the criticisms about the MCU so far has been no direction in Phase 4 and so far Phase 5. And I would argue that Phase 1 and 2 were largely the same. Now, we don't remember Phase 1 and 2 because, well, I do, but the shitheads who are, calling for the death of the MCU don't, because that's their main criticism. I think what's going to happen is that there's going to be a soft reboot sooner than later. And that the Secret Wars and the Kang Dynasty, or it's Kang Dynasty and then Secret Wars, right? The two next Avengers movies?
Yeah.
The ones that were announced? Yeah. Kang Dynasty first, yeah. I think that's gonna be a way to soft reboot the MCU so that they can kind of come back. Because if Feige's not thinking about this, he there's no way he's not thinking about this. But the fact remains is that you still have characters like Mark Ruffalo, who is getting older, like Chris Hemsworth, who's getting older. Chris Evans, if he ever decides to come back, he's getting older. The guy who played Cable, Josh Brolin, he's old. And Ryan Reynolds is no spring chicken either.
How much it's going to cost?
$1 million, bitch.
More than that.
The point is that he wants to start the MCU fresh with all of the characters he has at his disposal, with all like-aged actors within reason, because some characters are older than others, whatever. But like that, and then move forward from there. So all he's doing now is trying to hold the shit together and get it through to Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. It wouldn't surprise me at all if we don't see the X-Men or the Fantastic Four until Secret Wars. I know we have a Fantastic Four movie coming out, and it's in development, but I don't know how much I believe that, because I really truly believe that Feige wants to start over with the X-Men, with Spider-Man, with all the Fox shit, and start fresh with all new actors. That's what I believe he's doing. So whatever that takes for the next 5 years to get there, that's what he's doing.
But we're also going with the idea that the X-Men, like it is the idea that you and I talked about with Loki season 1, where we said that the X-Men are going to be in a pocket universe.
Yes.
And that's based on what we saw with the Beast stuff. With the
the fact that Jackman's back and Deadpool 3 now,
which that will be a multiverse story too,
right?
Because
we can take that.
They're not touching Logan.
Exactly.
They already said that.
We can take that with a grain of salt that Jackman's back, because it is a kind of a one-off thing.
It's a last ride for him, I think, because
exactly.
we never got the Deadpool Wolverine.
Deadpool acts outside of the MCU. It's nice of that to do that. So he can have Hugh Jackman back, but that doesn't mean he's back as Wolverine or whatever in the MCU. That just means that he's back as Wolverine in Deadpool 3, and that's it.
I still think that he's going to kill off the Fox universe.
Yeah.
And he's bringing... I don't know if he's going to bring that parallel universe in that Monica's in.
Right.
But I think that's probably where sort of where we're headed.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, this is we all have the assumption that he's going to kill off the Fox universe.
Yeah.
Because we saw the set photos and all that other stuff. I don't know. I don't know what could happen.
Deadpool 3 will explain a lot. Or it might not explain anything.
It's just insane to me to think that Deadpool is going to be the one that's going to anchor in the X-Men with Wolverine. But he's going to be the one that's going to bring in the new No McAvoy, which sucks because I like Fassbender as Magneto. But no Fassbender, no Ian McKellen. Not Patrick Stewart. The dude's almost like he's in his 80s.
Dude, yeah.
It was nice to have him in Multiverse of Madness as like a nice little Easter egg cameo, but
Right, but you could even tell in that movie the little amount
they
of
were
screen
very
time he
limited
had.
with what they could do
Yes.
and what he could do.
So one thing we gotta understand too is, look, for my money, if you're looking for, I wouldn't mind seeing, if you are gonna do a race swap, I wouldn't mind seeing Giancarlo Esposito as Xavier instead of Magneto, because they were talking about him
He
for
would
Magneto.
he's too typecasted to be
Well,
Magneto.
really?
He should. Well, yes, he's always.
I think if you
he's-
offered him the chance
he's
to
always
be a
the
good guy,
He's always this deep voiced. That's what I mean. Why I think it's a good idea for him to be Charles.
right?
I'm agreeing with you.
Okay.
I'm saying that yes, because
That's what I
he
think-
deserves to be a good character because he's always plays villains and he always plays
He's good at
this
it.
deep voice.
Right, he's good
Yeah.
at it, but that doesn't mean, I would like to see, and so if we have him as Charles, and also I understand that in the comics Magneto's white and Charles Xavier is white, so when they talk about race swapping, they often say something like, okay, both guys are going to be black, or both guys are going to be Latino, or both guys are going to be Asian, or what, right?
Yeah.
But why can't it be Giancarlo Esposito, I believe, is black and Latino?
Yeah.
So why can't it be that he's Charles Xavier and he's just not white, and then the Magneto guy is also not white? Like, why can't we have...
I think because you could still and you could keep, but I think being Jewish is so tied to his character.
Magneto?
Yeah.
It is.
And you could make him a black person that had to deal with, because black people were put in the camps too.
Well, the entire X-Men,
or I
even
don't know
though...
if they were put in the camps, but they were definitely killed. Black people were killed by Nazis. So I mean,
I don't know how many there were in Europe. But they were undesirable because they were not white and they were not Christian and
Yeah.
they were not blonde-haired and whatever, Aryan, whatever.
they pretty
the
much
fuck
killed whoever they wanted.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. What about Giancarlo Esposito as Charles Xavier and Antonio Banderas as Magneto?
Will you stop making woke X-Men?
No, seriously.
Wokesmen?
He's old enough now that, he's got that, right?
Again, I still think it's hard.
You can have a Jewish Latino.
You
Asshole.
know what? That's all the
You
point.
sound like Nerdrotic, man.
It's a good point.
You sound like heel versus fuckface.
Wow.
You sound like Melody Mack.
Okay. It's enough. You knock it off.
You wish you sounded like Melody Mack.
Yeah. I
That's
think,
us clout chasing.
but it definitely is a point that like they're trying to, for sure, making a point that they want their Fantastic Four movie to come out soon. I'm just a little concerned, and I think they're going to change this again because we just saw because Deadpool is July 2024. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's the next MCU movie.
Instead
right?
of May, it's July now. They
yeah.
pushed it back,
which is
a couple
crazy.
months.
The next MCU
But
movie
yeah,
is...
but dude, they got to fix this because my God, because 2025 right now, there's 4 movies coming out. That's too much. I'd say you go 2 and 2, because if again, this is the problem that people have with the with the Disney Plus MCU stuff, is it's too much.
Yeah.
And I thought hold on, I thought about this, and I thought, well, I honestly feel like, so with we talked about it when we were watching the Marvels.
Yeah.
It did kind of feel weird because it did kind of feel like you didn't need to watch the shows, right? But by the nature of it being in the MCU, you think it's interconnected. And I think, so if people have criticisms of the Marvels and saying it was like too hand-wavy of the Disney Plus shows, I think that's a fair criticism.
Sure.
And I think that makes you wonder with what they're going to do. But that could change.
I have two
because they've made an effort to make changes to how they do TV.
Right.
So I don't know. But I'm just saying 4 movies in 1 year is a lot.
Well, I have 2 things to say about this, and one of them is, when is the first James Gunn DC movie coming out? I suppose it's Blue
It's
Beetle.
still July 11th, 2025. That's super.
2025.
Yes.
So I was just curious about that. Look-
or sorry, Creature Commandos is coming out before that, but I don't remember exactly when it's coming out.
Look, I don't know.
I think I could be wrong.
I don't care.
I'm pretty sure Superman's the first thing. But anyway, continue. Sorry.
I like Marvel Comics, right? And here's something that I haven't really thought about, and it's a lot different because of the scale. But when I go and get comics every Wednesday, I'm not buying every single Marvel that came out that Wednesday. I don't buy every comic book that Marvel puts out every month. I don't, because there's some stories I care about, and some I don't. I'm not reading any of the Thor shit because it's in a totally different whatever. I was reading Hulk because I got jumped into the ground floor of that new series, but now it's been too long.
Yeah. I mean, but that's with everything, you know. I think
there are way too many X books. There's no way. If I do any X books a month, it's 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And there's like 19 every fucking month, dude. Now, when you think about it like that, it's a different scale, but that I don't have to watch every single piece of content that the MCU puts out.
And
I don't.
And I will say,
I like to.
Yeah.
I like to. And truth to tell, if I had the money for it, I would buy every book that Marvel put out every month so I could I would. If I could afford it.
But
so it's okay to not watch everything.
So on one hand, I could say you could feel that way, but on the other hand, there is an extra level of I understand things differently, and I understand in the context of Monica's relationship with Carol and how she got her powers and all that stuff with WandaVision, and the Miss Marvel show having the context of that show, and that family, being around that family, you know, it was nice to see them back, and like so I mean, it really depends on what you want to get out of it. If you want to get out of the idea to get like, okay, it's just some extra MCU stuff, expands the lore a little bit, and it's just a way so you don't have to make origin movies anymore. Like you're like, okay, we can put this character in a show and they can just show up because we've already done the legwork to make it where this universe is big. This universe has all these characters and it's big, but it's also small. Like they're gonna run into each other. It happens.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the way to look at it. Is like it is, and we've talked about it. It's like comic books. It's like miniseries. Like that was the Miss Marvel miniseries, and now she's in an event book that's the Marvels. And that's the one thing I do love about the MCU. Is flawed as comic books can be, and this can be, and this is. It is kind of fun to think like it does kind of still operate like that, and we're also seeing like Loki showed what. If you talk about Loki and WandaVision, to me, stand out as the best, some of the best, I would say arguably the two best shows from the MCU, because they found a way to carve their niche, and they found the little pocket that they carved themselves into. And that's what you're going to start seeing with Blade, which is why I'm excited that Blade happens, and it's an R-rated movie. I mean, now we have an R-rated Deadpool, and he's going to be his lone little pocket, and that's going to also maybe turn into the X-Men stuff. And like, and Echo, like the Echo trailer, we haven't had a chance to talk about.
No, we haven't.
That looks fucking awesome.
I haven't seen it.
It's TVMA, and it's going back to like the Netflix Marvel roots. Cool. And I'm like, fuck yes. Because I had no interest in watching that movie. When we were talking about, every time we talked about it, I'm like, I'm not going to fucking watch Echo. I don't care. Like, I like that Hawkeye show, but I was like, Echo's not speaking to me.
I probably won't watch the Agatha Harkness.
Probably not going to do that. But Echo,
unless I have time, which I do have a lot of time.
It's showing me like Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin be the Kingpin we love. Like you see him beating the fuck out of a dude and his hands bloody. Like this is going to be a gory, violent show. And it's going to harken back, and we get a little shot in the trailer, a brief shot of Charlie Cox as Daredevil. And I'm also excited that what they did was like, hey, this isn't working. If we're going to do this Daredevil show, let's like do it right.
Yeah.
So when you look at the grander scheme of things, the finale, you and I were talking about how Loki, also the MCU people that name this shit, like name these products, are so lazy. They released a Funko Pop based on this version of Loki, and it's just called God Loki. Not God of Stories or anything cool. It's just the custodian of the multiverse is the nickname I've seen on Twitter and stuff. No, God Loki. Loki was already a god, Marvel.
Yeah, fuck faces. Actually, technically, they're aliens.
He was technically a frost giant.
They're all aliens. Technically.
Ancient aliens.
Fuck off.
Think about it. Think about it.
The dude with the hair.
Yes. So I mean, but because you and I talked about it when we talked about the Loki finale, we think that like in the grander scheme of things, that Tom Hiddleston is coming back because he released a statement. He did release a statement thinking like, if you think I'm truly gone, you're mistaken because I've been dead like a couple times already. Because you thought he died at the end of Thor. He was dead at the end of Ragnarok, but then they used the multiverse to bring him back. So we just need the scene of Chris Hemsworth's Thor meeting this Loki.
Yes.
Because it's going to be such a heart-wrenching scene because Thor is going to be so proud of his brother. Because that's really what I want out of everything. That's what I want. I think you're onto something when you think that Loki's going to reset everything with Secret Wars. He's going to untangle. He's going to let go and untangle the timelines.
Well, I think it's a perfect way to the way they're writing it. It's a perfect way to do a soft reboot without like incurring the wrath of like millions. You know what I mean? It's an easy way to go, hey, all that shit still is and will always be.
Well, they've already done that.
Yeah, but you know what though? We're moving into a new direction. You know, we're gonna start this MCU with the Fantastic fucking Four. Like the fucking comics started, because that was the first.
Yeah. And I truly think after all this, I think they're gonna just step away from after Secret Wars, that's it. They're not playing with multiverse stuff anymore. No. But it's also an excuse to say like, and we've been talking about this for since we started this podcast. I've mentioned this a few times.
Yeah.
Say what you will about Warner Brothers and DC, but allowing Matt Reeves to have his own Batman universe and Joker be its own thing is a good idea because when you introduce the multiverse and you introduce it to a mass audience now you're saying to people that don't read comics and don't follow this stuff usually outside of just seeing these movies that all the movies that you love, guess what? There's a multiverse. They exist.
Yeah.
And you can just watch whatever movie.
Well, you can do like there's some crazy shit out there like what the fuck is I can't even remember the TV show, but there's a TV show that I'm not gonna get into it now, but there's a TV show from like the 80s that has like so many different characters from so many different like IPs that like what the fuck show is it?
Just you're not gonna get it.
I'm not gonna get it. The point is that this show proves that there's a multiverse of like disparate things like as things as like, you know, Little House on the Prairie and like RoboCop are connected through this like TV show.
Yeah.
I'll remember it for next week. I can't remember what it is now. I'm blanking, but and the way it is. But look, man, you know, Richard Belzer played John Munch in like 17 different fucking properties, man. You know, I'm just saying it's been around for a long time. It's only now that we're actually saying multiverse.
What's also kind of weird to me about the release, and I think they're gonna get shuffled again, but I find it weird that Captain America: Brave New World is like pretty much done.
Yes.
But Deadpool is still releasing before it.
Yeah.
And they're still shooting Deadpool. As far as I know, I know. Wait, hold on. I think Captain America is doing reshoots in January, which not uncommon. Every movie does fucking reshoots. It's not a big deal. I hate when people like freak out about reshoots.
Well, because back in the day, that's what that used to mean.
Sometimes it could be bad, but most of the time, I feel like reshoots tend to fix things, unless it's I don't know. Usually, it's not that big of a deal.
No.
And I just think when it's certain movies, I mean, like Justice League and shit like that, but those are outliers. Most movies that have reshoots aren't that bad.
No.
So I'm just wondering why that happened, and maybe it's a timeline reason. It could be. I don't know. Do you think we're gonna get Red Hulk in Brave New World? Because why bring back Ross? Unless you don't plan on doing something
John
with
Hurt
Red
is
Hawk.
dead.
I know that, but you know what I mean? I think they were going to do that anyway.
So who would be Red Hulk then?
I still think Harrison Ford's going to be his character. He's going to be Red Hulk.
Oh, right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Which was
Well, we're supposed to see the leader, aren't we?
yes, which is Timothy Blake Nelson.
Tim Blake Nelson.
It's Timothy.
Oh, is it? Fuck off.
Timothy. I don't know why I said Timothy. But
Tim Blake Nelson.
what do you think's going to happen with that? Because he's a Hulk villain. Why are we doing a Hulk villain in a Captain America movie?
I don't know. I really don't.
And now you also got to consider the Young Avengers, which is going to be Miss Marvel. It's going to be
probably going to be
Bishop,
a TV show, though. I'll bet.
Kate Bishop,
I'll
Hawkeye.
bet you anything that they turn that into a TV show so that they can introduce them into the movies as a team.
Maybe.
That's my guess. And
see, people think that they don't think. Is Scar also called Hulkling? I can't remember.
he's not the same character. No.
So there's a belief that was not
he
Scar,
could be a young.
that was not Scar and She-Hulk. That was Hulkling, was what I think some people might be considering. I don't think that's true. I don't know what they were fucking doing with that, but whatever.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on, but I could see them bringing in the leader.
What if Deadpool 3 is Deadpool's Secret Wars?
That'd be awesome.
But it's before it.
But they wouldn't be able to. You know what I'd really love to see is.
I don't think this rumor is true, but did you hear the rumor that they were trying to get Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man to also be in the Deadpool movie? I don't buy it. There's also rumors that Taylor Swift is the reason Taylor Swift was hanging out with Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds at the Jets-Chiefs game was because they were trying to convince T Swift to be Dazzler.
That would be fucking
in Deadpool 3. Would that be insane?
That'd be awesome.
I'd watch that. I'd be into that. Deadpool 3 has me excited, and I think that
Cameron Crowe, the guy who did Almost Famous and Singles and Jerry Maguire and all that shit, he pitched a Dazzler movie to Feige with Dua Lipa starring.
Really?
Why didn't you jump on that? Also, the guy who made the fucking Plastic Man movie. Hey, James. Hey, Jimmy Gunn. Hey, you guy. You're all cool. Jump on that shit. That sounds awesome.
Ben Schwartz?
Yes. Give me the fucking Ben Schwartz Plastic Man movie, dude. Give him an unlimited budget.
Did you say?
Yes. Yeah, I did.
He did. Speaking of James Gunn, we can segue out of that unless there's any other thoughts you have on the MCU.
No, I don't.
I know this topic, like the idea was like, let's just have a conversation about what we. Will you stop? What we think of the future? Stop. Come on.
I don't get my voice this deep that often, so I really want to play with it.
You derailed it, dude.
Get your ass to Moss.
You're over there just with yourself. You're
having sex with him.
Oh, baby.
I'll eat your ass.
Offpanelofftopic with Jake and Tyler.